Hey, welcome to our episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. I'm featuring a beer a day with TK. What's going on, man?
Hey, living the dream, man. Thanks for
Mhm.
inviting me on the show.
Yep. And whenever I do a collab beer review with somebody, it's like we almost always have to go with like something mainstream so that we can
Yeah.
both get it. And this is a beer I first reviewed on the show like in the early days like of 2008.
Mm.
And we re-reviewed it a few months ago when I did the Belgian wit beer style for my Tuesday night beer school.
Mm.
So this is a good old Hoegaarden,
Yeah.
4.9%. Says wheat beer brewed with coriander and orange peel, naturally cloudy. They even have directions on the back of the bottle that shows you how to pour it.
Yeah. Do the little swirl with the yeast.
Yep. I like the white cap. So I poured it into my own Chad's Beer Reviews Nonic pint glass because it's similar in shape to the Hoegaarden tumbler that they use, or what do they call it, a shaker glass almost.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
I,
I get like a huge foam when I first poured it, but after a few minutes, it does calm down.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got probably about a pinky of
Yeah.
foam on yours.
I think I poured mine a little bit before you, so it's kind of it dissipated, but it's still lingering. You still get a bit of it there.
Yeah. What do you get on the nose here?
For me, I think this is a classic beer. I think for me, like the nose is always kind of that citrusy kind of smells what I pick up most.
Yeah, you know what? The first thing I noticed is that it's actually a tad skunky.
Skunkier than you would think for a brown bottle, I guess.
Yeah, and it's not truly brown. It's like it's a very light brown. You might even call that amber.
Yeah. It almost looks like it's thinner. A lot of the browner bottles you can't really see through as much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of people don't know that Hoegaarden is actually owned by InBev and
Mhm.
Anheuser-Busch InBev. It's
Mhm.
it's still made in Belgium. But it's funny.
Mhm.
It says imported by Import Brands Alliance, St. Louis, Missouri.
Mhm.
I think we all know who's in St. Louis, Missouri. But
The evil empire, they're trying to trick us.
I would say this one off the nose, it's very spicy.
Mm,
It's got to be like the coriander.
yeah. It's
See,
like
it's funny
Corey.
because like you picked up citrus, but I'm getting more spice on
Mhm.
mine.
I think I don't know why my nose tends to be more sensitive towards the citrusy stuff, like that
Mhm.
zesty kind of thing. I mean, you definitely pick up some spices as well. I mean, it's not a super strong nose, obviously, but you do pick up what it's supposed to smell like. I mean, you get most of the things that says on the bottle here. You pick them up.
Yeah. What's your bottling date? Because mine says
Let's see.
best before. I don't know if that's March 2nd or February 3rd,
No,
2025.
it's got to be the European thing because mine's
Yeah.
14-3, so March 14th, 2025.
Okay, so they're about the same
Yeah, my wife just picked
date.
this up at Walmart, I think, like a couple days ago.
Yeah. As far as appearance, man, it kind of looks like today's modern hazy IPAs.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
call it. It's kind of like I don't know if I call it banana yellow. It's somewhere between yellow and orange.
yeah, it is an odd color because you want to say like it's kind of that naturally yellow color, but it does that definitely has a hue to it. It's not just yellow. It's
Mhm.
almost like I don't know. Well, I mean, you can't see through it. You definitely get some cloudiness to it. It looks decent. And I'm trying to see down the bottom. I pick up a couple of little pieces of something, one or two, but that's about it. Nothing
Floaties.
really,
Yeah.
nothing too
This is
much on
one
the
of the
bottom.
few beers that I don't think it's bottle conditioned. I think it's just unfiltered, so you have like the sediment at the bottom. But
Yeah,
I was gonna say it's one of the few beers where I'll actually pour the sediment in. Like
yeah.
anything that's bottle conditioned, like a lot of the Belgian Trappist beers and stuff, like I leave the yeast in the bottle. But
That'll destroy
anyway,
your stomach if you drink those.
all right, I'm getting really thirsty. Let's dive in here.
Let's
Cheers.
do it. Cheers.
Hmm. Honestly, this is a lot lighter tasting
Mm,
than I remember.
yeah. This is a beer that I don't know, probably first time I had this was 20 years ago or more. I don't know about you, but it was one of the first kind of Euro beers that kind of popped up when
Mhm.
back in the 90s or something. So
Yeah.
tried this, and it was real exciting back then. Now maybe we've just had more beers or the palate's a little bit different. It's kind of less exciting. It's still good, but I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit less exciting than it used to be.
And I mentioned on the nose that it was a little skunky. It actually tastes a little skunky too. I mean, it's like usually I just get like on the first sip and then I don't really notice it after that. Did
Mm.
you pick up on that at all?
Yeah, there's a tiny, it's like a tiny bit of like mustiness or funkiness or something there, but it's not. It
Mhm.
doesn't really dominate, but it's like underlying throughout the whole thing. You kind of get it.
Yeah.
It's still decent. I still quite like it, but it's just I don't know. Body a bit lighter than I had remembered it being as well. But I suppose if you're looking for a warm
Yeah.
weather beer, you could do a heck of a lot worse than this. What was the ABV? 4.6 or something?
4.9.
4.9? Yeah,
It feels lighter than that. It feels like it's
100%.
closer to
Yeah.
like 4.
Yeah, 5 is kinda like middle of the road for me, and usually
Yeah.
I don't know, you like to think you can pick it up below it. It feels lighter than that.
Yeah, it has a very light mouthfeel, and oddly enough, because like I don't know if like this specific beer, but like this style, they use a lot of them brewers use oats
Mhm.
to kind of like thicken the body and give it like kind of like a creamy
Creamy
mouthfeel.
feel. Mhm.
This one, it's odd because like the actual mouth feel is I'd probably put it about light, and it
Mhm.
has like I would say it's a smooth texture. I wouldn't say it's like a creamy texture, like
Yeah.
a hazy or something.
Mhm. I'm with
Fairly
you, though.
highly carbonated.
Yeah, it's like that where it has, like, that viscous feel to it minus that heavier body you'd expect, but it definitely has like, a smoothness to it for sure.
Yeah. I will say it tastes much lighter than it smelled because on the nose, it was, like, so peppery
Mm.
and just aromatic, and now I'm drinking it, and I'm like, "This kinda tastes like Blue Moon or something you would get at Aldi."
Yeah, yeah, the fake Blue Moon from Aldi. That's almost what it tastes like. I mean, I suppose they're probably all clones of this anyway. This would have
Mhm.
been out first, and they kind of mimicked it. But I mean, I think it from what I remember it being, it's maybe not as unique, but it is quite good. I still think it's a solid beer.
Yeah, it's like I said, we just reviewed this on my other show
Mhm.
a few months ago, and I don't remember what I gave it. Let's see. Wow, so it must have been the difference between bottles because I reviewed this in October of last year, and I gave it a really high rating,
Mhm.
and, like, this bottle by the way, like, all beer reviews are, like, of the container you have in front of you, it's, like,
Sure.
not the product as a whole. Because like, usually this beer is, like, a world-class example of the style, but, like, this
Mhm.
particular bottle that I'm holding is, like I don't know, it doesn't seem damaged or anything other than, like, a little skunky, but
Mhm.
it just seems like the recipe is different, like, this is, like, average at best.
Yeah. I mean, if you pick this up, if you're at a beer festival and somebody gave you this, you drink it, say thanks, and move on. You wouldn't really think twice about it.
Yeah. It tastes like somebody's homebrew or,
Yeah.
something you would get, like, at Applebee's.
In the 22-ounce glass for $5. That's it. That's
Yeah,
exactly it.
yeah.
That being
I
said,
gotta
this
say
is
I'm a
not
little
bad.
disappointed. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
bad at all. There's nothing really wrong with
it's
it
just
other than, like, that little bit
it's
of
there. It's
skunkiness.
middle of the road there. That's what it is, man.
I think I just got, like, a lousy bottle. I forget where I
Could
got
be. Like,
this. Probably Total Wine or do you guys have Total Wine where you are?
no, unfortunately. I've been to one in Florida. I think there might be one on like the Cincinnati, Kentucky border, but that's like 3 hours from me. So
Mhm.
I haven't been down there.
It's hard to get good fresh beer from overseas in Florida.
Yeah. It
I will say, like, this is really refreshing because like, it's, like, almost 100 degrees out today, and I can just,
mm.
like, suck this down, like, all day.
Yeah, this is like a ballpark beer or mowing the lawn or you're out by the
Mhm,
pool. I lived in Florida for a while, and the thing that always hit me is I tend to like darker beers or heavier beers. You start drinking
mhm.
too many of those in the sun, and all of a sudden you can't move. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
think this is light enough. It's kind of refreshing. You get those like kind of citrusy notes. You get the coriander. It's not offensive on a hot day. If you had a burger with this or something, it wouldn't distract you. I mean, I think it's okay for what it is. Again, not what I once thought it was. When I was 20, I thought this was one of the best beers in the world.
yeah.
At close to 50, maybe it's a different story.
Yeah, I remember, like, the first time I had Blue Moon,
Mm.
like, I remember my friend was like, "You gotta try this, it's like orange flavored beer," and I was like, "Orange flavored beer?" I was like, "Oh,
Little would they know what would happen to us years later.
yeah." Um, I don't really have much else to say, other than, like, normally, I usually really like this beer, even though it
Mm,
is a Budweiser product or like a macro, whatever
mm,
you wanna call it, and I just like I said, I just scored this. I'll put a link somewhere for the, my Tuesday night beer school on the actual witbier style. But this particular bottle I'm holding is, like, kinda lame. So, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is like a 6.5, 7 tops,
Yeah.
kind of like C plus B minus range. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, my channel I used to do thumbs up, thumbs down, or eh. I would probably say it's an eh. If I was going to go on a 1 to 10 scale, now I'm a college professor, so 70 is like a C in your passing. That's probably what this is. I mean, I'd agree with you, 6.5, 7. It's decent. It's not a drain pour. There's nothing offensive about it, but it's
Yeah,
certainly nothing exciting about it that would make me say, damn, I want another one of these.
I know,
So,
which is odd because usually it is. It's usually like, yeah, I would have another one of these.
yeah. I mean,
But I prefer like, I don't know if you can get Allagash White. That's probably like the better.
yeah, I've had that. Um, I mean, look, I mean, let's be fair. I guess wits are the most exciting style or most dynamic style in the world. So they're,
Mhm,
I guess they're not as exciting as some of the big stouts or other things, but still,
mhm.
pretty true to style, just kind of unremarkable, sadly.
Yeah. Well, I guess that about wraps it up. I will be doing a podcast with TK, so I'll have a link to that somewhere up around here.
Mm.
And I will see you in a few minutes.
All
Cheers.
right. Cheers. All.
Somebody brewed it. Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Reviews. Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.